and welcome to Amy's Opinions. My daughter is going to stop typing so we can hear it. Today we're going to talk about high brass versus low brass in band because we're a bunch of band geeks. So I'm joined by my daughter Alicia, who plays euphonium, my friend Cornelius, who plays trumpet, my daughter Maggie, who's mediating, who tried to play percussion but couldn't keep on tempo because she had her own tempo and didn't agree with the band director, and then myself, who's played both trumpet, a little bit of trombone, baritone, euphonium, a little bit of sousaphone. And today we're going to talk about why low brass kicks ass and high brass eats grass. All right, Cornelius, since you disagree with me, we're going to let you start. Why is trumpet better?
Why is trumpet better or high brass better than low brass? I think trumpet or high brass typically requires some more, there's more of a melody with the songs. So if you listen to any song like in band, it's mostly like the high brass carrying most of the song, the melody of the song, where low brass just sit down the back and just kind of like, hanging out. I just feel like in trumpet it's more, I don't know. I think that's mostly the reason why I think that.
So you think you carry the melody. Alicia, your thoughts?
Are you talking about? I carry the melody. I just finished up playing a piece last semester where I played the melody for the most part, and my notes were higher than most of the trumpets.
What do you play?
Euphonium.
I play euphonium. I can also play baritone. I can kind of play trombone. I tried it once. It didn't work out very well. I play cornet. I play trumpet. I can do a little bit of bugle, too.
And you prefer low brass?
I prefer low brass, yes.
All right, so let me ask you this. When you tune an instrument, who do you tune it to? Do you tune it to high brass or do you tune it to the lowest instrument for the whole band?
I tune it to my tuning app.
Okay, but when you're in band and you're sitting there and everyone's playing the scales and the instructor says, okay, we're gonna have this person play B flat, everyone tune their instruments to that person. Who do you tune it?
The flutes.
Really?
So we have tuning. It used to be the clarinets, but now we don't have any clarinets in the band.
Okay, Cornelius?
I want to say I recall it was mostly low brass. I want to say that's what it was, but it doesn't make low brass any better.
But without low brass being the base of the band and the melody, because if you didn't have us with the bass notes, you wouldn't hear the melody. It wouldn't jive. It wouldn't meld. It wouldn't go through as well.
It wouldn't really be, what's the word for it? Polyphonic? Homonophonic? We were learning a bunch of fancy words in music class and I didn't pay attention.
Yeah. So it wouldn't
meld. Midterm, though.
Okay, I'm glad you did. I'm a little bit concerned about you, kid. But it wouldn't meld. You have to have the high notes with the low notes, and you have to have the low notes be able to boost up the high note. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, You could say the flutes carry the melody. The clarinets could say they carry the melody. Saxophones could say they carry the melody.
Percussion can say they carry the melody.
Yeah, timpani, marimba, bells, xylophone. Anyone can say they can carry the melody. But who carries the bass? Low brass does. Trumpets can't carry the bass, can they?
Trumpets cannot carry the bass. Typically, no. And I think what you're saying is low brass carries like the foundation. It's what holds us together. It's the glue per se, which I'd agree with. But I just still can't agree. I can't agree that they're better.
You can't agree that they're better, but they are the glue that holds it together. So without low brass, what do you have? Because low brass can carry the melody.
And counter melodies.
You would still have a band. May not sound right, but you'd still have one.
So...
Well, you also have your strings instruments, too. Don't forget about your strings.
We're talking band. We're not talking orchestra.
Same difference.
No.
They both play music. The only difference is one has strings and one doesn't.
No.
And one marches, the other doesn't.
Bands march.
No. We're not bringing strings into this conversation.
Darn.
An orchestra marching with the cello.
Again, not bringing strings into this. Now, I was in marching band. I was in wind ensemble. I didn't do jazz band. Sorry, that's just not my thing. Alicia, you've been in marching band. You've been in wind ensemble. Cornelius, what have you been in?
I've done marching band and wind ensemble, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you do marching
concert band?
Did you do it on the East Coast or West Coast?
I did East Coast, so we did what we considered like core style marching, and then we've done the last 2 years we transitioned to like a show band. So something like so like A&T, the high stepping,
Now, see, I didn't do any of that because I grew up on the West Coast. Alicia, you didn't do any of that.
No, I quit band before that in high school. Then I joined back up again in college.
So I would say Cornelius had more difficult marching band. Based on my skill level with coordination, I couldn't do what Cornelius did.
And I inherited your coordination. Thanks, Mom.
I give you kudos for that. Now, my sister, she played trumpet. She never learned how to read music. Her band instructor would play the song, and she would mimic him, and that's how she played. She played all by ear. I can read treble clef. I can read bass clef. Alicia, you can read treble and bass, correct?
Yeah.
Cornelius, can you read both?
Used to. I can only read treble clef now. Bass clef is kind of...
Treble clef is a
But
little
treble clef is short.
not my strong suit anymore.
But you could still read it.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, you could almost read it.
So, just for a little bit of background, and I know it sounds like we're picking on Cornelius as the only trumpet player,
I know a whole section of trumpet players.
but this was kind of his idea to do. After I told him that low brass kicks ass and high brass eats grass, he still wanted to do this. Now, I haven't seriously played in 20 plus years. I don't think I have the chops for it anymore. I really don't. But the high school I went to, we had a band instructor who had us playing college and professional level music. So at one point, I was playing, I started at trumpet, had braces. The braces cut into my mouth. I was a horrible trumpet player. I'm going to be honest, I was horrible. I was going to quit band, and I had a band instructor said, hey, we need people with your attitude. Can you join band? And the first day of summer band, they took me off trumpet and they put me on baritone, which worked out great because with braces, it fit around the braces. I was actually able to play without having my spit valve full of blood from my lips being all cut up with braces. So, for me, that was great. But what was even better was high brass people have a little bit different personality than low brass. I'm just going to say, in my experience, low brass, we had a lot of fun, but we were kind of goof offs. Whereas high brass, we had the melody, we're going to be, the studs of the show. I remember shooting rainbows in a girl who was playing a timpani solo in her eyes while she was playing, just because I was waiting for my turn to play, so I was shooting rainbows from Prison Watch. That's
That's mean, though. Genius, but mean. I approve.
Wasn't she also how hard her solo was? And
yeah, and it wasn't just me. The other guys in low brass were using my watch to shoot prisms in her eyes. We got stopped. It was during a concert, but we got stopped. What are you shaming me for?
I mean, with the
You still
high
have
brass,
that watch?
No.
Darn. I was gonna ask if I could use that on someone in band. Never mind.
No way.
These are my girls. They act just like me.
Well, it wouldn't be for another trumpet player or a flute player. Be for the other euphonium player because I have to.
My boyfriend did say I have
He got
to
me
find-
with a bunch of sauce packets and plastic babies, so I gotta get my revenge now. To be fair, he showed up late to band, and I had put those little fake mustaches all over his chair and stand, but...
And that's something I don't think people realize that, you think a band, you think either you're very kind of snooty or you think you're geeks. Band kids have a lot of fun.
Very much fun.
We might not always be portrayed as the jocks of the school, but doing marching band, there's a lot of coordination, a lot of effort, and a lot of instep. And like with Cornelius, where he did more of the show bands, there's a lot of athleticism to that.
Marching band is a sport. I don't know if you all agree, but it's definitely a sport. We practice and we perform.
100%.
And we compete.
I wish I would have gotten sports credits for doing that in high school.
Absolutely.
I agree. Marching band is a sport. It's a very high intense. Not only are you doing the steps and the patterns, the dances, but you have to play music at the same time. It's very much in depth. And I don't care if you're high brass, low brass, woodwinds, percussion. I don't care who you are. If you're able to keep up and do all that, you're an athlete. But you may not be viewed as an athlete. And I can guarantee you some of my favorite times in high school and middle school were on band trips. I mean, that you met with other people. You met with other people who played your same instrument. You compete against other schools. You could be a little jerk. Didn't matter. It was fun.
I liked it because I got to go to Disneyland for a march.
Yeah.
Hey,
I got put on TV.
Yeah, we weren't going to get that lucky.
Did you just roll your eyes at me, Cornelius?
I mean, that's okay. I have it on TV too, local TV. Does that count?
Yeah, it counts.
Christmas parades. Yeah.
So I remember doing a parade, and it was right after I had my appendix out. It was the first parade I was able to do, and it was a 3-mile parade. And the television crew got right in front of me, and I blared my horn at them. Because I didn't want to get out of step. I didn't want to break ring to go around them, so I blared my horn at them.
That sounds like a high brass, kind of move. It really does.
Again, I started off with high
We
brass.
both did.
going back to the personalities, when it comes to high brass and low brass, I feel like they're similar, but they're very different people in the way they act. I feel like high brass has more of an air to them for some reason. You're more high-minded and almost arrogant, but not arrogant.
Low brass, I think, is more kind of the goofballs.
I would not be able to mess around with my other trumpet players if I were still a trumpet player, the way I do with my other euphonium player.
Yeah.
Or the trombone players and the tuba.
I'm going to be
The
honest.
bassoon joins us, though.
I say low brass kicks ass, high brass eats grass, but for me, it doesn't matter. As long as you have music and you're part of something and you're creating music and you're creating something, it doesn't really matter. Each is equally important. Everyone has a job, everyone has a part, and when it all comes together, it's equally important. Maggie, what do you think?
Yes.
Yes, just yes.
I definitely agree. After playing both instruments, I prefer low brass, but I had fun with high brass too. I biasly will always think low brass is better because that's my favorite, but they both play a very important role, and they're both a lot of fun to play. But I wouldn't have as much fun messing around with other trumpet players as I do with other low brass players and low woodwinds.
We should also have Lewis on this one if we get at work, just because he started off low brass and kind of stuck with low brass. He wasn't a switcher.
He wasn't. Lewis, when he was, so for all of you who don't know, my oldest son, Lewis, was the first one of my children to learn the instrument. And he wanted to play tuba.
Not true.
Yeah,
No.
He wanted to play tuba.
We all started off on the recorder, so technically I was the first one.
Okay, besides recorder.
Everyone did recorder.
But Lewis was in 7th grade, 6th grade. He was in 6th grade, and he wanted to play
I
tuba.
think I was taller than him then.
You were taller than him.
He was going to play.
Wasn't even 5 foot yet, and I said, why don't you try baritone first? And somehow I got conned into going and teaching the brass section, not just low brass, but high brass and low brass, and giving them music lessons twice a week. And then we actually did a brass concert with these middle school students, and I ended up being their teacher or assisting their teacher because he was dealing with all these other little middle schoolers, and he just didn't have what it took to deal with a bunch of kids. And that was fun. I had so much fun teaching them how to balance the high and the low instruments so that way one wasn't overpowering the other, but they were complementing each other. And for anyone that's dealt with middle schoolers, that is hard. That is absolutely hard. And then to have these little kids, oh, can you show us on this one? Okay, give me your trumpet. Hey, can you show me on this one? Okay, give me this. Can you show me on this one? No, I don't know how to play slide trombone very well, but we can figure it out. Let's figure this out. That sort of a thing.
And even making it so that one kid could do a dance with the trombone.
Yeah, we got it all squared away. But I think that children need that. I think you need some sort of interaction, and I think music is a way of communicating across languages. Because you can hear a song and you can kind of say, okay, yeah, this sounds fun. Okay, this is more doom and gloom. That's why we use so much music in media. You have your movies that if you had clown music, it wouldn't be a horror movie.
Unless you're scared of clowns.
Yeah, Sure.
Would you say, speaking of like low brass and high brass, and you teaching, and like two of you all playing high and low brass, is it easier to go from high to low or low to high, or does it not make a difference?
So I don't have the right embouchure really to play high brass, and I struggled with it when I was first learning, especially with the braces. And then I went to low brass, and then when I went back to high brass, I could hit those higher notes that I couldn't hit when I was just because it strengthened up my embouchure. Now, I got kicked out of band once by a substitute teacher who thought I was smirking at her, but that's just the way, you get the mouthpiece, and it was just the way my mouth settled. I wasn't smirking at her. I was just really playing, but she thought I was laughing at her and making fun, so she kicked me out of band. But
you would, though.
I told her, yeah, she was kind of a jerk. I probably would have. Oh, she went to Sarge and said, hey, and Sarge just laughed and goes, yeah, no. But I think learning low brass enabled me to hit those higher notes on the trumpet better, but the ear was harder. It was harder for me to hear the notes I was playing because I was so used to hearing, with the euphonium, it's right here. I was so used to hearing that here, and it's lower, and so I'm playing the same notes, but I'm playing them on the trumpet, and it's a higher pitched note, and so it was hard for me to get back into that range. It was hard to kind of go back and forth a little bit, but that's just me.
I was expecting the opposite answer, but I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger mouthpiece, bigger, and you have to have a lot of air, and of course, like you've seen, my daughters are just like me. Especially according to Maggie's boyfriend, who said that the other night when we met him at dinner.
Am I going to meet him?
She should.
I don't know.
We'll go again. We'll talk that off table now. But, it takes a lot of air, but the muscle with the low brass and the bigger, it helps. Because then you start off at a bigger mouthpiece and you go down to a smaller mouthpiece. And it just helps.
That makes sense, actually.
But you didn't think it was.
I didn't think that. How I was playing high brass, and then we would like change our mouthpieces to they were even smaller. It was kind of fun, actually.
It was.
But if we were opening, of course, it was easier. Just what I was thinking, going from high to low was the easier.
Yeah, it was. Going high to low was easier for me because of the braces. And because I'd had 4 or 5 years playing because I started in 5th grade. It was easier. And I went from learning to play baritone treble clef to learning how to read bass clef. And then, made it all the way. I made it to state for solo, but that's as far as I ever went. Let's just say I didn't make it any further than that. I was a rich player. Great or grand. You okay, baby?
Yeah, I haven't been in my room for a week, so I need a vacuum. It's a little dusty.
Okay.
Congratulations.
All right. So, hearing all of our conversations, Maggie, in your opinion, what's better, high or low?
Percussion.
Okay. Cornelius?
Still going to stick with high, though we are all needed. High brass.
All right. Alicia?
Low brass all the way. And definitely not just because I play low brass. No, never.
I'm going to say equally are important. I don't think one's better than the other. I prefer to play low brass because that was where I actually shined. I was actually able to learn and handle that better. So I shined at that. So for me, that's why low brass is more, I always pick low brass. I think both are needed. So I don't think one's better than the other. I think music's important in life and everyone should have music in life. All right. So that's it for Amy's opinions on low brass versus high brass. Thank you for joining us and have a good day.